Hello everybody, hello, it's Claire and Dave at Reiki Hitchin here, and we just wanted to jump on because we're getting lots of questions about Reiki and healing, and so we thought it would be a really good idea to jump on and do regular Q&A sessions so that we can answer your questions. So, there may be questions that you have, so please do stick them in the comments below, and if we don't get to them today, we will make a note and we will include them in the next session. So yes, please do comment. So some of the questions that we've had recently that we're going to answer now. So the first question is Reiki different from spiritual healing, other types of healing?
No.
Simple answer.
So
That was a very quick answer.
So let's qualify it. So my answers are based on kind of doing this for 20 years odd, with a very open mind, okay? Exploring different things, different belief systems, different healing systems, actually taking other courses and all that kind of stuff. And I can guarantee to you it's not. And obviously I was healing before I came to Reiki. I came to Reiki to try and understand what healing was. And then started to teach Reiki because it's a great way in. But without a doubt, if you go beyond Reiki and begin to explore the nature of energy and consciousness and stuff, no, it's exactly the same stuff. And it works in the same way. We tend to overcomplicate it, but is it different from spiritual healing? No. Next.
Okay. The next question is, does it work on all illnesses? Can you use it for absolutely anything? What would you say?
Yes. So that's the short answer. Yes, you can, all illness. So in my 10 years of full-time healing, then yes, all illnesses responded. There was no illness that didn't respond. Now that doesn't mean that it's just kind of a one-off kind of zapping. Sometimes that happens, but normally it's a process because the person was in a process to get ill in the first place, and that kind of has to be reversed, if you like, in that way. But yes, all illness is curable unless the person is so has decided to die. That happens. But also if the body's so degraded that it can't repair itself. But yes, all illness is curable.
Okay. And I think a really good question that a lot of people would like answered, and I think there are a lot of people that have actually done the Reiki levels and done Reiki courses, and are still wanting to know the real answer to this question, and it's how does it work?
All right, so how does healing work? Again, you've got to answer that. You've got to go beyond Reiki and kind of look back at it and put it in context. But which is another course, which is a whole other thing. But the bottom line is, what you can say is that the the body's made of energy. It can constantly heals itself. And what a Reiki healing session does, if we're talking about in those terms, then it boosts the immune system, if you like. It engages the body consciousness and it engages the person at other levels of consciousness and awareness in order to restore health back to the body. That's why a lot of people feel as though it hits kind of multiple levels of them. But ultimately it boosts the body consciousness that we have already and empowers it to restore the body back to health, in the simplest of terms.
So the next question is around
for people. So ultimately, an attunement process is where you create new kind of energetic psychic pathways that allow the person to experience more of their natural ability to heal. And there are lots of ways to do that. Yep, there you are. Yeah, I mean the next one is, do I need one, on the board over here? And the answer is yes and no. You need to do something in order to engage these processes. Like anything, you need to take a different action than the one you've done before. By nature, do you need an attunement to do healing? No, absolutely not. But because we're so tuned out of our natural ability, then yeah, you need to do something, but I always tell people it's them, and often the simplest process, the better. We need something. Could be a meditation. A lot of it is very ritualistic, which isn't helpful, actually. So ultimately, if you look at it, we're trying to create new psychic, energetic pathways. What's the simplest way to do that? The simplest way is some kind of meditation, some kind of process.
Okay.
And I'm going to add in here that a lot of people think the more attunements you get, the more powerful you are. That's a nonsense. That's not actually true. It really comes back to you experiencing yourself, not going to another to do more attunements on you, because actually that's disempowering. Okay, you get less powerful the more times you go to somebody else for an attunement, because that's the nature of how it works. So, ultimately, as you go through the process, as you go through Reiki 2, if you do Reiki 2 with us, you'll realise that there's a self-attuning process that you can do and that you should do. You shouldn't be going back to other people for attunements after that process has started. That's disempowering rather than empowering. And if anybody charges you to do an attunement, just run in the other direction very, very quickly, because that's actually not going to do what you think it's going to do. It's like controversial, but true.
Yes.
Okay.
So the hand positions. In Reiki, you learn various hand positions at various stages. What are they? Do we need them?
Okay, yeah. Again, this might be slightly controversial to people. The hand positions weren't in traditional Reiki, way back when. They've been introduced over time around the kind of chakra system. Now, I would say, this might be controversial to you watching this or not, is if you approach the chakra system, I've read lots of books on this, I would bet my life the chakras don't exist. Okay, it's another belief system. Nobody's ever seen one that I've ever met in 30 years of doing it, or a lifetime of doing it. So the hand positions are created around a system that's kind of been made up. And we can get into that into another course. But fundamentally, no, you're better off not doing the hand positions. When you're first starting out, it might help you to build confidence, to follow a set process. Start at the head, work down to the feet, go around the other side of the body, back to the head and finish. But actually what you do want to do is you want to actually follow your own intuition. You want to engage that process part of yourself, because if you do that, you're likely to do a better and more effective healing session. So hand positions for the first 5 sessions, follow them, and then forget them and come back to yourself. That's my advice.
Yeah, I think that's a really important thing to talk about, actually, because thinking back to when I first did my Reiki 1 and learned the hand positions, I think because I was quite in my head, I realise now, looking back years later, that I was, very caught up in, am I doing it right? And I think as well, I didn't actually feel it. So I think that, we can sometimes feel that we need some rules to help us to achieve something and to be able to do it right. And so I think having some hand positions to start with, just to guide you and help you so that you know what you're doing, can give you, as you said, a bit of confidence and help you. But I think at some point you want to move away from that and allow your natural confidence and your natural intuition to take over and develop your journey. Because everyone's Reiki journey is actually going to be different, and it's going to evolve in its own beautiful, magical way.
I mean, when we did the Reiki support, Reiki share, whatever you want to call it, the other night, then people who are new tend to start following the hand positions because they're not very confident. One of the best things that can happen to that in that situation is somebody's new, they follow the hand positions, which again I'd suggest you let go as quickly as you possibly can, but they follow the hand positions and then they get a result. Okay, so they follow the hand positions and it works. And then the key is to not follow the hand positions and find that it still works. And that's when you realise, it's got nothing to do with the hand positions. Yeah. It's got nothing to do with chakras. It's got nothing to do with anything like that. There's a whole different process going on. And the more inquisitive you are about that, that's why I say all illness is curable. When I was doing the healing, there wasn't an illness that didn't improve. Not because of me in many ways, but because of my curiosity. So kind of was me, but about going, okay, well, how can we get a result without following any rules? Just allowing that process to happen, and that's why it worked so well. That's why I was, a very successful healer in those terms. So yes, that's what I'd say. Follow them to build your confidence, but as soon as you feel as that you want to go somewhere else, which could be 2 feet off the body, 1 feet, or in the corner of the room, whatever it is, then follow that. Just go that, and you'll find that often you get a better result.
Yeah, absolutely. Follow your own intuition, and I think that's really important. I think that's really key for Reiki, that it is part of your, it's part of a bigger system, it's part of a bigger thing in your life that's about your own self-development, your own journey and your own self-healing and growing. And so it's a beautiful thing when you can relax and trust into that system and follow it and trust yourself.
Yeah, I mean, Reiki's not an end point, so it's not like you just you do Reiki. I mean, Reiki means universal energy, and that is the whole spiritual exploration, is understanding energy and how we relate to it. So Reiki can bring you a brilliant insight into that, help you do healing for yourself, for your family, for your children, and all those types of things. But it's a real door opener. But again, the questions we've got here, is it the same? How does it work? All those types of things. Once you can get beyond that and just begin to trust yourself a lot more, actually it works a lot better. And you gain confidence, and if you're a practitioner, you can begin to build your practice. So,
and I think that's something that we'll talk about in another session, because I think the confidence is quite a big thing for a lot of people. We do talk to a lot of people that have started out with Reiki and then actually kind of gone forward. They've lost confidence. And I know that in my own journey, I did Reiki 1 and then I didn't really do anything much. I did Reiki 2 and then, kind of didn't really use it. It was only much later actually that I kind of went back to it. So I think that, sometimes you might do the levels, or you might sort of start off the journey, but actually it can be quite a long-term journey. So you might have big gaps, or you might not be able to feel it, or you might lose your confidence. Yeah. And so, I think that's something we'll do a separate video on, actually, because I think people might find that useful. But also I would say, come along to the share. That's one of the reasons why we've done the Reiki share each month, so that each month you can come along, you can practice. It doesn't matter whether it's Reiki. We had a new person come along last week, the other night, didn't we, that has never done Reiki but is a spiritual healer. And she fitted in perfectly well, and we just all did it. I think last month as well we had somebody who'd never done Reiki before, or healing of any kind, and had no knowledge of it, but was just curious and up for it and willing to give it a go. And another person who was there that does it as a professional healer. So the share is a really lovely way for you to tap in if, for example, you have done the levels and you want to get back into Reiki. Perhaps you feel a little bit rusty or not very confident. Perhaps you've never done Reiki formally, or you can feel something but you're not quite sure what it is, or you want to ask some questions. Whatever it is, whether you're a complete beginner, a teacher, you've got questions, you want to practice, whatever it is, or you want to develop your Reiki journey, you're really welcome to come along at our monthly Reiki support and share. The next one is on the 16th of March, and we're getting lots and lots of people asking. We have only got 8 places though, so do make sure if you are wanting to come that you book now. If you go along to our web page, you can go along to inspireaspire.co.uk/Reiki, which is spelled REIKI, and then you'll see little buttons on there. You can go through to the support and share page, Reiki 1, the courses. It is still a work in progress, so there's more pages to come. There'll be information about doing the masters and practitioners and helping people with their Reiki business and stuff like that. That's all to come, but it is in process. So please do come along, and you'll find the dates are on there actually for the next few afterwards. So do put those dates in your diary, and I think doing that each month will really help to boost your practice, get back into it, and really give you that enthusiasm about Reiki again if you've lost that, or if you've lost touch with your teacher perhaps, or
or yourself fundamentally.
So do come along. The other thing to say is, if you've got any questions, stick them below in the comments. As I say, we will do another live Q&A. We'll do lots of them because we want to answer your questions. We want to help you to be on the journey to deepen your experience and feel more confident about doing Reiki and healing and growing in your spiritual journey. And also to say that if you are wanting to do Reiki 1, which is the very first level, so that's the first level you do if you're wanting to learn Reiki and take your first step into the Reiki journey, then we have got a Reiki 1 coming up this month, which is on the 22nd and the 23rd of February, and it's at a discounted price of £150, and that's for the 2 days, and that's going to be held in Hitchin. So we would love for you to come along and take your first steps with us into Reiki. It's going to be a really beautiful couple of days. If you have a look at our last live that we did, we talk about why it's important to do 2 days. And you can have a look on the page as well. Go into the Reiki 1 page and you'll see more detail in there about what you can expect and get out of the days. So ask us some questions. If you've got any questions, please PM us, stick some comments below. And anything else we need to say?
No, I think that covered us all.
No, I think that's it.
Yeah, so just to say, it's going to be a lot of the courses are fun, they're interesting, lots of practice.
Yeah, very experiential, aren't they?
You know, lots of questions and answers, which is great. So that's it. Hopefully you can come on the 22nd, 23rd. Small groups, nice bit of fun, and we'll leave it there. That's it. Take care.
Bye for now.
Bye.